So I guess we're getting a little bit of a preview from stats before. I'm just gonna quickly double check the date, so I know when the events are. All right, in about a week from now, a little bit over a week, the 2nd of December is going to be the first day of Tuba Tournament. So, yeah, we're going to get a little bit of a preview here on Lightshade LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player coming down from South Korea. He is the Shield of Fire himself, the CEO of that organization known as Shield. He is the one who blesses the reins. Representing a freak of freaks, we have Stats.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Mexican Terran player, the Red Terran, currently asking about his boy T.Y. Taeyang himself. We have representing Team Exxon, it is SpeCial.
The one time we get into a lobby with Inu, the players start speaking in English.
I was about to say, like, Stats is one of the players who has, like, better English amongst the Koreans, and...
He does. He's been practicing.
Like, Inu, where were you previously? Like, we needed you, like, for Dream. God damn it.
We needed you when you weren't there, Inu. No.
Feels bad, man. But we'll see what happens here. Oh, interesting. SpeCial, he even started the supply depot just to deny the scout, the probe scout from Stats.
Yeah, he's either hiding something or he's just really annoyed at probes going up the main. I know that feeling as a Terran player.
Yeah, this is something that TY and Time do a lot. It's like, you know, either they're hiding something or they're not. Like, there's no reason to do it. Like, regardless, you're kind of leaving this seed of doubt in the mind of Stats. Like, oh my god, is he hiding something? Is he not? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what reinforces this is the Marine first. So no SpeCial no Reaper coming up from SpeCial. I was saying no SpeCial coming up from Reaper.
Yeah, you know what that means? No scout.
Yeah, no scout coming out. So sure, Stats is gonna be in the dark, but so is SpeCial. Though I have to say, I feel like this benefits SpeCial a bit more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because he's playing a lot more active. Stats, he would much rather react to the opening of SpeCial's going for.
Yeah, like that's one of the things where, like, Stats, it's kind of, he's a little bit predictable. Like, that's the downside of Stats, you know, compared to a player like Parting or SOS or even CJ Hero back in the day. They can be a little bit more aggressive. So because of that SpeCial, he can kind of roll the dice and just kind of assume that Stats isn't going to be overly aggressive and forego that scouting.
Yeah, not just foregoing the scouting here either. Like, he is foregoing the natural base for quite some time. So this is an actual 1-1-1. This is the most 1-1-1, 1-1-1 that anyone can want.
Can 1-1.
Can 1-1?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my god, throwing down an armory behind this as well. Jesus Christ. SpeCial does not want that natural. He wants to go for those Widowmine drops and make sure that those Widowmines are undetected.
I have a massive smile on my face right now, Light. Even sent out a couple of these Hellions just to get a little bit of map presence and also to try to distract Stats as best as he can, so he isn't able to react quickly to these Widowmines. There is a Phoenix coming out, and it is okay going across the map, but I have a feeling that these Phoenixes should start patrolling pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenixes, they quickly checked over to the left-hand side to see if there was any, like, proxy Stargate or anything crazy like that, looking to try and catch any drops. But you know what? They're looking to try and catch drops going into the main. The drop, it's going into the natural.
It is going to natural, but the Phoenixes are getting pretty distracted here over by the main base location. Stats, he is aware that mine drop is happening. And actually, he is able to react pretty quickly, only losing a depth so far. And very nice crowd control on top of the Widowmines. This is the defense we expect to see from the Shield of Fire.
Yeah, we'll see if it's good enough, because you know what? Juan, he picked up those Widowmines, he's barring them again, and you know what? There is still no detection.
And the Hellion actually able to make it into. Jesus.
Oh my god, even more Widowmines waddling across the map. A couple more, we have a medevac and another Widowmine. Juan, he's just trying to do whatever he can.
Yeah, really taking advantage of the lack of detection right now. There's not much that Stats can do other than just hope and pray that special on burrows, and he's able to lift up the widow mines.
Yeah, like at the moment he's just relying on the Oracle that's about to come out. And the Oracle, it can only use Revelation in one area. He does have an Observer coming out as well, but again, it is going to take a little bit of time for them to finally be produced.
I'm like gripping my armrest so hard right now. Like the mines are about to rearm. The mines are about to rearm.
Ooh.
That's a big explosion. Oh, but actually a really good pull from the natural base.
Yeah, still nine probes went down. There is finally detection, so everything is going to be cleaned up. But now, SpeCial, he can finally expand.
Yeah, he can, but stats, I mean, okay, he's not as far ahead as he would like to be, but he's still ahead in terms of the workers.
Yeah, and I like this from SpeCial. Like, he was being incredibly aggressive. Off of this, he's double expanding. Like, we already have the third CC being thrown down. Like, he needs this desperately to make sure he's able to catch up or to stay ahead in terms of the economy. The only thing that he has to worry about is, like, a big counterattack. But again, like, there isn't really that much here for stats.
Yeah, especially on Light Shade, you can definitely afford to get a little bit greedy. You know that it's going to take a while for your opponent's counterattack to hit on the other side of the map.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised this. Okay, the Widowmine is going to be targeted down in the natural. Meanwhile, there is one in here in the main, and I don't know if Stats has realized this.
I don't think he has. Oh, okay, now he has.
Yeah, should be fine.
He's sending detection over. And there we go. That's the end of that Widowmine harass. Yeah,
and in the end, 16 probes all in all have gone down, and that's not bad. That's an entire mineral line, but at the cost of 9 Widow Mines, it's hard to say who really came out ahead here.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give the edge to SpeCial, but Stats has been able to mitigate his losses so well. Again, he's still pretty far ahead on the workers. He has not neglected that whatsoever, and sure, SpeCial has a really solid defense here, but, Stats, he is taking absolute map control.
Oh yeah, he has a massive almost said Stargate. We have a massive Phoenix count out here for Stats. We have a couple more joining the fray, and we do have Colossus on the way. So sure, he may not have very many gateway units. Like, his ground army is looking quite vulnerable. It doesn't matter because, like, SpeCial, he isn't moving out anytime soon.
That he is not. And now we even see that Stats, he's feeling comfortable enough to go for his own expansion. Oracle will live. Oracle will live.
Does barely live, does manage to escape the lock-on of the Cyclone, and we do see SpeCial is attempting to take his third base. Stats is trying to do his best to try and deter that, snipe off a couple of SCVs here and there.
Yeah, he is getting a couple. Not really much these Phoenixes can do against a grounded base like that, but he's gonna try.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, right? I was mentioning about how TY and SpeCial, they're not afraid to do this. Mate, we got mech.
Yeah, I looked at that second factory and I thought, oh, it's cool that SpeCial is playing like Dream is. Gonna go heavy into Widow Mines, and nope. He is gonna go for the mech. Phoenix is surprisingly able to get quite a bit of damage done. Getting off a Cyclone and a couple of SCVs.
Yeah, a couple of Vikings as well. Stats being so aggressive, so cost efficient with these Phoenixes, and more importantly, I believe he was able to scout the production. He does see the extra factories. He's aware that SpeCial is going for this mech style, and even more factories being turned down. Jesus Christ. But the thing is, like, SpeCial, I don't know, like, I rarely see mech work, not gonna lie.
Well, I guess it also depends on how the Protoss players' composition is going to look like, and when the Terran player is able to go for their big push. Right now, Stats going for the more standard Colossus-based army, and that's not the best against mech.
Yeah, it's not really ideal. We will see how he's able to transition, and we do see that we have charge on the way. We have +1 on the way. Oh.
Pylon blocking all those probes. In the end, only losing 4, so not the worst damage done here, but SpeCial. He's been able to catch up on the workers.
Yeah, he's caught up. He's on 3 bases. He's slowly working on that tank count. I imagine we're going to be seeing a 4th. I mean, we'll see how SpeCial decides to play this out. Like, he isn't going for Ferrari mech, so his army is going to be pretty immobile. Yeah,
playing out a little bit slower, so we should be seeing the 4th base for a little while anyway. SpeCial just really just trying to see if he can get any harassment done and really secure his current bases, because it takes a while to build up those those tank defenses and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely, and we do see that Stats for the most part has been able to get away with this greed, because for the longest time, like, this has been his army. You know, like these two Colossus and like a handful of Gateway units, but now we have the Gateway Explosion kicking in, we have Charge kicking in and all the upgrades, so now he's going to be able to finally reinforce and really start working on the Protoss, you know, on the Protoss ball, if you will.
Just like so. A couple of Templar coming in, morphing into Archons, getting some Immortals behind us as well. And this is Stats really starting to build up the anti-mech army.
Yeah.
Really starting to go into those, you know, Archons, Immortals, a couple of Chargelets for the flank.
Yeah.
This is hard. This is really hard for the, if the Terran player gets caught with their pants down, essentially.
Yeah, definitely, and for the most part, SpeCial is just kind of turtling up. I like that he is sending out medevacs here and there to try and drop and deal some damage with all of these, with all these Widowmines, and he's even sharking around looking for those Phoenixes or even Colossus.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get those Colossus with these Vikings. Actually going to be able to find the air army of Stats.
Ooh. Meanwhile, at the same time...
Yeah, very nice drop here. Oh, but it might not really getting too much done. There isn't any detection though. I'm a little surprised that Stats hasn't really gone for making any cannons yet.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a cannon here at the third base, but the natural and the main are a little bit undefended. It's really risky, as we do have the Widowmines that are about to reset.
They are about to rearm, but let's be real, there are no probes there. Oh, all SpeCial is on siege, and Stats does see this, but was he a little bit too greedy, a little bit too long? As he doesn't quite have the army he needs to deal with this. So instead, he goes around it.
Yeah, exactly. He's just going for a massive counterattack. He has to be careful not to trap his army, because SpeCial, he's on the hunt. He's looking for it because not all of the supply is here for Stats. But Stats, oh my god, he has to be so careful. Look at how many tanks there are.
There are a lot of tanks, a lot of Vikings as well to deal with these Colossus. Phoenix is coming in, trying to deal whatever they can. Here comes the flank with the Zealots.
Jesus Christ, and Zealots
just enough.
Yeah, Zealots are
work here on the Vikings.
Yeah, and they're exactly what you want against these tanks. So many tanks just went down for free. Sure, SpeCial is able to siege up, but he already lost so much supply in that engagement.
Wow. It just goes to show you how important positioning is when you're going to be playing the spec style.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame SpeCial. He was kind of like over eager. He's like, oh my god, the army is here and it's quite small. Like, I'm gonna chase it down. And then you get flanked by charge outs. It's like, oh well.
I mean, to be fair, I think what SpeCial was kind of thinking in that moment was like Stats. You know, he was coming in with the entirety of his army, right? And SpeCial, he had a very mobile force. He could either go across the map or go back and try to defend. Not both at the same time. And at that point, he was pretty out of position.
Yeah, definitely. He was out of position, and we do see SpeCial is attempting to counterattack with some of these Liberators. There is stack defense, so he has to be a little bit careful with his positioning.
Yeah. And managing to dodge the cannons there, but not the Stalkers. Yeah, it doesn't quite have the advanced ballistics yet. Liberator range. It's going to be a little while longer. Meanwhile, the harassment force SpeCial has really been building them up.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's interesting that he completely switched up his production to pump out Cyclones instead of tanks. After losing so many, I mean, I don't blame him. Like, there's a reason why Ferrari Mech is a little bit more popular, but oh my god, all these tanks are so exposed.
They were very exposed, and now the army is essentially split in half right now for SpeCial. And a very quick warp in of Zealots over here, and I mean, there are still Hellions with Blue Flame here, but they're not exactly Hellbats.
Yeah, but you know what? The Cyclones are actually, like, kiting really well, and the majority of the Archons have gone down, but now we have a massive warp in of Charge-Outs, and with these Charge-Outs, they just push on through.
GG is called. Stats gonna be taking game number 1.
Wow.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, like... mate, the power of Charge-Outs against mech, you know, like as soon as the Charge-Outs get on top of the tanks, get on top of anything, it's like, mate, like what do we do here? Like,
that is the question, I think.
It's one of those things where...
Yeah, it wasn't just the Zealots, to be fair. I think the Archons really put in work against those Vikings. They were pretty clumped up, and I mean, those Colossus fell down, then Stats, I think, would have still taken that game, but he would have lost he would have lost some leverage there.
Definitely. It's one of those things where like it's a reason why we don't see mech too often against Protoss. You can make it work, and as you were saying, like if the Vikings were able to catch the Colossus, and everything would have changed, right? But the positioning of Stats was just on point.
Very on point here, and we do have a bit of an update here. Light Rogue takes out Dark 3-0.
Oh my god!
And will be the first finalist of tonight. So yeah, we're just getting everyone in here. We're gonna be looking at special versus stats, and yeah, we're gonna have a Zerg player in our. We're gonna have a Zerg player in the finals. But
yeah.
Whether it's a TvP or a PVC.
We've we were talking about it earlier about how Dark, he does kind of struggle a little bit more in the ZVZ matchup, you know, whether it's against Solar or Rogue, like they seem to have a bit of an edge over him. And yeah, he is once again falling to one of those players, falling to Rogue, and he's going to be waiting for the winner of this series.
Yeah. And bet he's going to be doing a lot of research while waiting. That or just eating. It is that time in Korea.
For
like
sure.
Around the around the dinner time in Korea. Hopefully nobody pulls patience.
Hopefully not.
Alright, hopefully that won't happen here, especially on Romanticide. LE. LE is, of course, standing for Lovers. Ecuador. Lovers, Ecuador. That's when you love Ecuador. In the top left-hand corner map, swinging all the way in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player coming down from South Korea. He is the Shield of Ire, already up 1-0 in this best of 3, up against someone who he's kind of has a winning record on. Representing a freak of freaks, he is Stats. Boy.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand side of Romanticide LE, we have the Mexican Terran player currently talking about how bad mech is. And I mean, you're the one that went for it. I don't know. We have the red Terran representing Team Exxon. It is SpeCial.
He went mech to prove a point.
What? He's like, everyone look, mech needs to be buffed against Protoss. Okay.
If you say so. Meanwhile, everybody else looks at that TY versus Stats game. Where TY did the same thing. Okay, to be fair, TY went for BC mech that game.
True. There are different varieties, different ways to approach mech in general, right? Like going for like Cyclone Hellion first, of course. SpeCial, he did prioritize those tanks to begin with, but again, he lost so much of them for free in game number 1 that it just kind of just wasted resources at that point. We'll see if he does something similar here in game 2 or if he switches it up.
Well, we are Romanticide, the Eternal Empire of the current map pool, and I would say that tanks, there are some pretty good places to put tanks in, like say behind the mineral wall, for example, or on top of those ramps, but I mean, you still gotta think back, right? You know, Zealots, Archons, Immortals, they don't really care that much about positioning. Well, I guess Zealots do, but...
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like Lings, where like if they get like a nice flank off or something, then it just completely ruins a tank line. I agree.
It's funny how fast melee units work.
Yeah. I do think that there are like positions here that can be used from SpeCial, but it works both ways, I guess, because you can go like for a heavy tank mech style, or you can go biotank and still, you know, get the same effect.
Yeah. I would be very surprised though if SpeCial goes the same thing twice, and already we see, not quite doing the same trick. He is still skipping out the Reaper, but he did get a more standard timing on his natural base.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I forgot how game 1 started. Game 1 was crazy, where he was staying on one base and rushed the army and went for those Widowmine drops. I mean, I loved that aspect of it, but yeah, in the end, we were looking at like the units lost afterwards, right? Where it was 9 Widowmines for 16 probes, and it was like, oh, it wasn't really worth it. Hard to say.
It might have been, but in the end, SpeCial won that game, so. You know.
Yeah, so I guess it wasn't. It's hard to say. As we do have this Stargate opener coming out once again from Stats. Again, prioritizing those Phoenixes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if this is a recent development in PBT.
I mean, it feels like a pretty almost abusable way to play. I mean, to be fair, we've seen SpeCial go for like these tank pushes in the past. It looks like he isn't going for one, and that can be abused by Phoenixes because if they pick off the tank in the center of the map, then it just completely deflates the push. But here, no tanks. We have Cyclones and Marines just rushing across for SpeCial.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, Light, it's a lot harder to pick up a Cyclone, especially when there are a ton of Marines around, especially if they can go into a bunker. This is a pretty scary push coming up from SpeCial.
Oh yeah.
But I always just gotta think back, right? I gotta think back to Stats' nickname.
Well, I was going to say that the scary thing is that Stats didn't have anything in the center of the map to scout for this, so he's only just now realizing what's in his face, and he's trying to lift up with his Phoenixes, but one gets sniped.
Yeah, picks up the Marine instead of Cyclone, pulling all of these probes, exactly what Stats wants, or SpeCial wants, and eventually Stats, it looks like he's going to clean this up, but at what cost? 11 probes already going down. Still not too far behind in terms of the worker count, but still, that was a pretty expensive loss.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like SpeCial may not have like ended the game here or dealt like crippling damage, but he's dealt enough damage to, you know, kind of bring down that worker count to a more equal position for SpeCial.
Yeah, and this is not an all-in by any means. SpeCial, he's still got a way out of this. He's still got a way to macro out of this build.
Yeah, this entire time he's been pumping out SCVs. We have a third CC on the way. He has to be a little bit careful and make sure he has enough to hold against the counterattack though.
Yeah, which is pretty difficult here. Only has Marines at the moment, trying to go for a Cyclone, but we've seen what happens to Cyclones when they're picked up by these Phoenixes. Oh, really nice here for SpeCial.
Ooh. Yeah, he actually forces a recall with those Liberators, so because of that, these Phoenixes weren't across the map able to CC that Cyclone, and SpeCial holds.
Nicely done. We're going to be going to a much more standard game out of this. But yeah, pretty interesting start to it.
For sure. Like, we have all this damage being done by SpeCial. Like, unlike a game number 1, he didn't have to commit anywhere near as much, and he was actually able to deal quite a lot of economic damage. Meanwhile, those Stats, he's looking to try and equalize, diving into the main, picking up some SCVs here and there. Yeah,
this is a vengeance of Stats, vengeance of the Phoenix, but there is enough anti-air. Shouldn't be getting too much harassment done for the time being.
Yeah, and we see once again Stats, this is exactly what he did in game 1, where he kind of skimps out on the gateway units, on the gateway army. Like, he's only got, what, 1-2 gateways, and he's just going straight into Colossus, straight into Extended Thermal Lance.
Yeah, going to be looking to defend against a bio push coming out, which we do see is what SpeCial is building for. The very, the good old classic +1 timing attack with Marine Marauder tank. Oh, yeah. Actually, no metapacks. Going straight for Vikings. I kind of like this from SpeCial. It's going to have a lot more opportunity to deal with the Colossus.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, +1 is still on the way, and Stats is doing such a good job to harass with these Phoenixes. Very akin to Mutas. He just dives in, kills some SCVs, and he's forcing SpeCial to stay at home. That's so important because, again, what I was trying to point out was that Stats is being so greedy. Like, his army at home is almost nothing at all. Like, if SpeCial went across the map, he would be able to deal so much damage, but he's forced to stay at home because of the Phoenixes.
Yeah, he does not want to lose one too many SCVs to those Phoenixes. Like, sure, he may be able to do a lot of damage with his push, but yeah, if it gets equalized or neutralized for the Phoenix harass, it doesn't quite matter.
Yeah, and Stats even taking it fourth.
Oh, that is so greedy. Oh, SpeCial stim late?
Yeah, I don't know if he forgot
maybe
it.
Not. Maybe not, because he still can get +1 armor behind us.
Yeah, because typically you see stim like lined up with +1, right? And then you have that push move out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, not gonna be the case right now. Is building a lot of missile turrets over here, and I can't really blame him. Really wants to make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard.
It's one of those things where, like, if you're a player and you spend too much like of your resources on defense and on stack defense, like, in a way, you're also kind of putting yourself behind. Like, there's a reason why, like, we have players who, as if they like only get the minimal amount for defense as they can, and they spend the rest on their economy or on their army. Like, you want to be able to try and cut corners like that. Because SpeCial is kind of turtling up as much as he has been, like, Stats has been free to just probe up as much as he has. He's up to 70 probes.
He is up 70 probes. His Gateway Explosion is just about finished up. Templar Archive's going to be thrown down as well, about halfway done. The timing, or the golden window for SpeCial to really push out and do a lot of damage has pretty much passed.
Yeah. Now all those gateways are going to allow massive warp-ins on the side of Stats. You know, Charge is about to finish up. We have the upgrades from Stats on the way as well. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for when is the opportunity for SpeCial. I think he realizes that maybe that window is closed. So because of that, like, we have the Ghost Academy on the way. Like, we have +1 armor on the way. So he's just been waiting for those EMPs.
Yeah, he's taking to his second stage. He knows that he cannot push it out with what he's got right now. Well, he kind of can, but that's mostly because Stats is being a lot more greedy than one would expect a Protoss player to be.
Yeah, exactly. And, oh my god, again, forcing a bit of a pullback, and SpeCial, oh my god, he's pulling the boys. He knows that he has to, like, potentially end the game with this, and it's so important that he was waiting for those ghosts. He has those EMPs to land on the Charge Lots and on the Archons.
Yeah, it's super important that he is able to take the best engagement he can right now. As this is just about all he's got. The Archons are pretty low. Colossus not quite taken out yet. Beautiful force fields. And the battery overcharge really keeping everything alive. Not a lot here to deal with the Vikings, but the bio can't push in. The bio can't assert itself.
Oh, it cannot.
Oh, the Colossus are out of position.
Oh, one Colossus does go down. It looks like another one may go down as well. But you know what? The Chargers are getting on top of the army.
The Chargers are starting to get on top of the bio. The kiting is really good. The tanks have been taken out, though. And this is the first step right now for Stats. He has massive warp in. Yeah, massive warp in. But you know what? One of the Colossus did fall down. Only one Colossus remaining for Stats.
SpeCial was able to win the air battle. All the Phoenixes died. But is it enough? Like, does Stats have enough to hold?
I mean, Stats needs to buy himself some time, right? He needs to make sure that he can really get another warp in and try to go for a really good positioning here. Or positioning
I like this. He just gives it up.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
He all the probes.
Yeah, Stats, he's not committed. He's expanding over to the south. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a zealot run by. Forces a lift off at the third base. So, like, yeah, Stats, he doesn't care. Take the fourth. I don't even want it. I'm expanding to the south, and I'm not going to take the fight.
Yeah, time is absolutely off the essence right now. Stats, he needs that time in order to get himself some more units out, in order to, you know, get a couple of warp-in rounds, maybe another Colossus or two. Or maybe not Colossus at this point, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly, and this run-by is forcing the entire army of SpeCial home. Again, there was zero mining at the third base. The Zealots, they were able to pick off a tank as well, and SpeCial is forced back home. Stats, he lives, he's fine.
The Shield of Ire, everyone.
Oh my god, he is the Shield of Ire, known for his defensive play. We'll see if SpeCial is able to crack this, because again, he's not out of it yet. He still has a massive bio army.
That he does, and it can still very much contest with the army of Stats, especially if he can get a surround or something, which you can do on Romanticide. But Stats, he is asserting his dominance. He is starting to press forward with everything he's got.
Yeah, exactly, because again, the ghosts that were missed in that, like, round of production only just now coming into play, but so much bio was shaved off. Now that SpeCial has those EMPs, I think with the aid of these tanks, it's going to be a little bit difficult for Stats to push into the third, but I mean, you know, he's able to push him away, and now he's expanding, taking a fifth.
Wow, I'm just in awe of all the money that Stats is going to be getting pretty soon. So that's been pretty scrappy. Both players really forced to, you know, spend their minerals, but Stats is about to be maxed out. Decent EMP, but that was only half of the army. Oh, that EMP kind of whiffed. This is such a good concave come down here from Stats, but SpeCial, he's kiting so well.
Exactly.
Well, I say kiting, but he's actually just retreating.
he's kiting as best he can. He was able to snipe the final Colossus, so no more Colossus in this army, but still, there are so many Archons, so many Charge Lots.
Yeah, and only one tank here, not really going to be enough to chase Stats back, but when the bio turns around, that is something that our blue Protoss player really has to respect. Another quick warp in of Zealots, and I can see Stats brute forcing his way up this ramp, but it's not going to be very efficient, especially now when SpeCial gets his concave.
Oh my god, but you know what this sounds?
GG is called. Stats now on match point. And it's not just the positioning here, Light. It's not just a SimCity that makes Stats so good at his defense. It's his decision making.
Yeah.
It's when he decides I need to give up that base so I can buy myself more time. I'll just get the other base towards in a different position.
Exactly, it's the decision making, it's the harassment as well. Again, zero mining at the third base of SpeCial when he was essentially all in. Remember, like that all started when SpeCial, he pulled the boys, he had to make that engagement happen. And I feel like if Stats 4, like the potential was there for SpeCial to win that fight and win the game, and Stats realized that. He's like, you know what, I know you want me to fight, so I'm just not going to give that to you. I'm just going to back off, you know?
If this was any other Protoss player in the bracket, I feel like SpeCial would already be here on match point, but nah, he had to go up against Stats.
Yeah, exactly. And now Stats is up 2-0. SpeCial, he needs to win this game if he wants to continue on in this series. He's on match point. One more loss and he's out of the tournament.
That he is. But one more win and Stats makes it to the finals. Up against Rogue.
Exactly. As a reminder, exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at that bracket, whether it's on Wikipedia or on the ESL site, and you can see the run that these players have been on, and Rogue is waiting in those finals.
Just twiddling his fingers. He's sitting on his chair. I've been expecting you, Shield. Alright, but before we get into that, we do have potentially the final game of the series left. Let's hope that, let's hope it's not. But yeah, we're going to be starting this off on Oxide LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. The blue Protoss player coming down from South Korea. One win away, Light. One win away. And with that, I gotta ask you something. Are you free?
Down in Africa.
Representing Africa Freaks, we have the Shield of Fire. It's Stats.
And spawning in at the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Mexican Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Exxon. This is potentially his final game. He has to bring it back here and now if he wants to continue his run in this tournament. It is SpeCial.
Oh boy, it potentially just hinges on this.
Yeah, I like how he's saying, he's like Protoss OP is like, nah, it's not OP. I'm just so good.
This is SpeCial's trying to win the mind games here, trying to make Stats a little overconfident, you know. And Stats, I mean, he's playing into it, but not quite falling for it.
I mean, I'm sure Stats is well aware that he has never lost a SpeCial, like a series, you know, like
in 2020 at least.
Yeah, in 2020.
And I mean, he's lost like 2 times to get SpeCial overall.
Yeah, like he is such a good player, arguably the best Protoss player in the entire world. And
yeah, I would say so after DreamHack.
Oh yeah, like it's one of those things where the competitors aren't around anymore. Like CJ Hero, Classic, you know, they're in the military, right? Rain.
Pour one out for Classic. Pour one out for Rain.
Pour one out for Rain, man. Oh my god.
We will never see him play again. People will be like, what are you talking about? He plays Root War. We will never see him again.
And also, I'm sure Gemini is being triggered right now. Of course, it's Trap, right? Like, we can't forget.
That's all I have to say, really.
Yeah, we can't forget Trap and Zest. Of course, they are solid Protoss players in their own right, but Stats has been on fire in recent times.
Going into the military this year. It's kind of weird because he didn't have the big like send off that someone like Sue had. Oh, did have actually managed to make it into the main base. Gets a very good scout for the first time in the series.
Wow.
And even taking away at some of these SCVs, some of these Marines even. Wow, Stats is leading them on a wild goose chase.
Jesus Christ. As you said, for the very first time this series, Stats finally gets into the main base. He scouts the 1-1. And I imagine that because of this scout, because he was able to get into the main base, he's like, yo, where's your starport? There's no third CC. It's got to be proxied, right?
It is.
I mean,
now we'll see if Stats is gonna be proactive with scouting, or if he decides, you know what, I'm just gonna go nothing but stalkers, put him at the edge of my bases. He should scout this.
yeah, I mean, the thing is that, again, because Stats was able to scout the main base, he's got to think like, yo, something's missing, something's off, something's not quite right. So we'll see if he's able to have some units at home to defend against the proxy starport. We'll see, as that Liberator is still in production, and SpeCial, he's hoping to deal some damage with this.
That he is. And again, I mean, Stats, he's feeling very confident. He's not really focusing he's cutting corners here, not really focusing too much on the defense. This is just about the bare minimum.
Oh.
Okay, with that wall, that's more than the minimum.
Oh, Jesus. That was beautifully done. Blocks the Hellions. And again, like, Stats is playing this a lot more safe, a lot more standard compared to the previous games. He didn't go for a Stargate opener. He didn't, you know, prioritize his Phoenixes. He actually has a decent ground army with, you know, a handful of gateways, and the Liberator comes in, but it's not going to deal too much damage.
Yeah, very quick pull here with the probes. Now SpeCial, I mean, shucking around, trying to get something done. The wall is still up, so Hellions can't quite get through.
Exactly, the wall is still a wall, so you know what, Stats is able to use his Stalkers to defend against the Liberator, meanwhile the Probe to deal with the Hellions. It's great.
The Probe to deal with the Hellions, yeah. You don't see that often.
Oh.
Or hear that often, but oh, bamboozlement. Stats caught completely out of position. Oh, but SpeCial doesn't drop in there.
Yeah,
Realized that the Liberator was dealt with by the Stalkers. Didn't want to waste his time, essentially.
He was thinking about it, and if the opportunity granted itself, then he would have committed into the main base, but there were Stalkers there ready to deal with the drop, so he didn't commit. Instead, he is still sharking around, and he does scout the timing on the third base. Oh, there's no probe.
There is no probe. The Hellions get in, but the blink has finished right on time, Light. Right on time.
Jeez, like almost that medevac was sniped out of the sky, was just barely able to escape with the Hellions. Meanwhile, the Liberator did go down in the end, wasn't able to kill. I don't think it got a single probe kill.
It did not.
Zero probes have died.
One Stalker. Those are the only casualties of Stats so far.
Jesus. Alright, and now Stats is being proactive across the map. He does have Blink on his Stalkers. He is able to catch the army of SpeCial, does spot that the third base is going to be landing on location, and Stats is going to be looking to try and, you know, poke away at this, maybe even blink into the main. He does have vision.
Does have vision. But he is biding his time. There we go, blinks right on top. Stops this barracks from getting up.
Yeah,
and
now like
really trying to get something done. A little bit body block there with the tech lab.
Yeah, meanwhile, there are some Hellions attacking at the third base location. He is killing 7 probes, so not bad. And in the end, he is able to push the army of Stats away.
Yeah. Especially the high ground tank there and the low ground tank to sort of back it up. But this does put a little bit more pressure on SpeCial. You know, he knows he really needs to push out now and really make sure that his push gets damage done. This tank can go down for free. And Stats, he's even looking for seconds.
He is
not satisfied. This is why I think Blink in the PvT is such a versatile opening. I mean, you can use it for, as you saw, Blink into the main, get a little bit of a delay there. You can use it to defend against those Hellions, as you saw, and now Stats, he's doing what I feel Protoss players should be doing against this build from the Terran player, just slowing down the push, picking off a couple of units here and there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, that's what you need to do when you go for these Blink Stalker openings. You have to be active across the map. You have to catch whenever the army moves out and just slowly chip away at whatever you can, whether it's, you know, picking off a tank here and there, some Marines, some medevacs, anything you can. The problem is that he isn't able to scout this push out, but I mean, he meets the army anyway.
Meets the army anyway. The Marines were right at the front, eating a face full of thermal lance, Colossus shot. And, okay, normally when you try to weaken the push from the Terran player, it's just with Stalkers. Stats is taking this to another level. He's bringing in the massive stalkers with him.
Yeah, and I just love how Stats is able to diversify just the way he plays, because for the first 2 games he played the exact same way. He went Mass Phoenix into Colossus straight away. It took him a long time to get into Blink Stalkers, if at all, but here in game 3 he's switching things up, and so far he's been able to play this out beautifully. But we do see SpeCial, he is trying to go for a drop, but he gets spotted
Immediately by these stalkers. Man, that's got to be a feels bad moment.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know if he's gonna be able to deal with these stalkers, but what about the Zealots?
What about the Zealots? It looks like the drop will be dealt with, and oh my god, the Colossus!
Yeah, they are so exposed right now. SpeCial getting a really good surround on the Protoss army. There were just enough stalkers here to keep this final Colossus alive, but yeah, that was not the engagement Stats thought he was gonna get when he was so active on the map like that.
Exactly, that was great. Like Stats was actually distracted by the drop. That's where the majority of his attention was, and SpeCial utilized that to get on top of the army, snipes 2 Colossus. That was such a great pickoff for SpeCial.
Absolutely was. Now he's just about equalized on the momentum count, or on the tempo, I should say. You know, Stats bruising the SpeCial's army a little bit, but SpeCial really putting the hurt on Stats' army. He's pulling the boys. He's pulling the boys. SpeCial wants this to be over and done with.
Oh my god, but you know what? He gets scouted by that observer. Stats, he knows how all-in SpeCial is, and is he going to be able to meet this army? He only has 1 Colossus.
Those SCVs right in position for the Colossus. Another Colossus coming in to support that. Ton of Vikings coming out right now. Battery overcharges in play. So many SCVs go down, and the Zealots get their surround. Vikings trying to fight the Colossus, but it's within the super battery, and there's pretty much just Marauders to deal with Stalkers and Colossus.
Yeah, that super battery working overtime, keeping both Colossus alive.
My mouth is wide open right now, like, GG. And I guess that was the point where we look back to that final push. Did SpeCial need to pull his SCVs? I feel like he didn't need to there.
I feel like he saw an opportunity, right? He's like, yo, yeah. I just killed 2 Colossus for free. I can do this. I can make this happen. Let's go. You know, he's only got 2 Colossus, or 1 in the beginning. Like, can he really hold against me? The answer? Yes. The answer is, if you fight within shield battery range, not just shield battery range, overcharge range, then, oh my god, like, the defense was amazing.
And that's why Stats is the CEO of S.H.I.E.L.D. agency.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a reason why we call Stats the Shield of Fire. Like, he's known for his defensive play, and even though he only had 2 Colossus with his army, one of them was almost dead as well. Like, it had already taken so much hull damage. He was able to keep everything alive and defend beautifully against that all-in push from SpeCial.
I think part of that might have also been that SpeCial didn't realize that Stats had another base to the lower right-hand corner there for Stats. So when that flank came in, you know, those flank with the Zealots came in, I have to imagine he got caught off completely by surprise. He thought he just had 1 choke point to deal with, but no.
Yeah.
Stats at more.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that maybe he could have gone for the natural instead of the 3rd or something. I'm not too sure if there was a shield battery there that would have come into play. Regardless, I think the positioning, maybe, again, he wasn't expecting the army to be where it was, right? And that's really what went into Stats' favor.
It really was. And now we're going to be getting ready. Our players just getting their vetoes down. Our final series of the evening will be a PvZ SpeCial Stats versus Rogue. SpeCial just rolls out the tongue so easy. When I see the S, I'm like, yeah, SpeCial. Satchel.
I mean, there were a couple of times where I said SpeCial instead of Stats because I just
it just rolls out.
It does. Oh my god. But as you said, we are getting ready for our grand finals. As a reminder, this will be a best of 5 ZVP, one of the best Zerg players in the world, or at least in Korea, against the best Protoss in the world. Rogue versus Stats, mate. I can't wait.